Section 1. Introduction, the power of code. Have you ever wished you could build your own website or app? Maybe you have a cool idea for a game or a tool to help people learn. Learning to code gives you the power to make these dreams a reality. It's like having a superpower. You can create anything you can imagine, from simple websites to complex web applications. In this guide, we'll walk through the steps to build a full-stack web app in just 1 hour. Don't worry if you're a complete beginner. We'll use simple explanations and clear instructions. We'll use popular technologies like Node.js, Express.js, Angular 12, and MongoDB. These tools are used by companies all over the world to create amazing things. Imagine building a to-do list app where you can add, delete, and check off tasks. Or maybe a weather app that shows you the current forecast for your city. These are just a few examples of what you can achieve with coding. The possibilities are endless. By the end of this tutorial, you'll have a basic understanding of how full-stack web development works. You'll also have a simple web app that you can show off to your friends. Ready to start coding? Let's dive in. Section 2. Building the backend with Node.js and Express.js. Every web app has a backend, the part that runs on a server and handles the logic. Think of it as the engine of your application. We'll use Node.js and Express.js to build our backend. Node.js is a JavaScript runtime environment that allows us to run JavaScript code outside of a web browser. This means we can build server-side applications using the same language we use for front-end development. Express.js is a framework that sits on top of Node.js and makes it easier to build web servers and APIs. It provides a simple and organized way to handle requests, define routes, and manage data. For example, we can use Express.js to define a route for adding a new task to our to-do list. When a user submits a new task through the app's interface, the request is sent to our Express.js server. Express.js then processes the request, adds the new task to our database, and sends a response back to the user's browser. With Node.js and Express.js, we can create a solid foundation for our web app's backend. These technologies are known for their speed, efficiency, and scalability, making them ideal for handling the demands of modern web applications. Section 3. The front-end Angular 12 takes center stage. Now let's move on to the front end, the part of the web app that users interact with directly. This is what users see and interact with in their web browsers. For this part, we'll be using Angular 12, a popular JavaScript framework developed by Google. Angular provides a structured way to build dynamic and interactive user interfaces. Angular uses components which are like building blocks for your web app. Each component represents a specific part of the user interface, like a button, a form, or a list of items. Components can be reused and combined to create complex layouts. This modular approach makes it easier to manage and maintain large web applications. With Angular, we can easily create interactive elements that respond to user actions. For example, we can build a form that allows users to enter their task details. Angular's two-way data binding feature ensures that any changes made to the form are automatically reflected in the underlying data model. Angular 12 also comes with powerful features like routing and HTTP services, which make it seamless to connect our front end to the back end. Routing allows us to define different views and navigate between them, while HTTP services enable us to communicate with our Express.js server to fetch and update data. Section 4. Data storage with MongoDB. No web app is complete without a way to store data. For our to-do list app, we need to store the tasks that users create. That's where MongoDB comes in. MongoDB is a popular NoSQL database that stores data in a flexible JSON-like format called BSON. Unlike traditional relational databases which use tables and rows, MongoDB uses collections and documents. Think of a collection as a container for similar documents. For our to-do list, we might have a collection called tasks. Each document within this collection would represent a single task. A task document might include fields like the task name, description, due date, and completion status. MongoDB's flexible schema allows us to easily add or modify fields as our app evolves. We don't need to define rigid table structures up front, which makes development faster and more iterative. MongoDB also provides powerful querying capabilities, allowing us to easily retrieve and filter data based on various criteria. We can use MongoDB's Node.js driver to connect our Express.js server to the database. This driver provides functions for performing CRUD operations, create, read, update, delete on our data. With MongoDB, we have a robust and scalable solution for managing our app's data. Section 5. Connecting the pieces APIs in action. Now that we have our front-end, back-end, and database in place, it's time to connect them all together. We'll do this using APIs, Application Programming Interfaces. APIs act as bridges between different parts of our application, allowing them to communicate and exchange data. Our Express.js server will expose a set of APIs that our Angular front-end can call. For example, we might have an API endpoint for creating a new task. When a user submits a new task through the Angular form, the front-end sends an HTTP request to this API endpoint. The Express.js server then processes the request, adds the task to the MongoDB database, and sends a response back to the front end. We can also use APIs to fetch data from the database. For example, we might have an API endpoint that retrieves all tasks from the tasks collection. The Angular front end can call this endpoint to display the list of tasks to the user. APIs are the glue that holds our full-stack web app together. They allow different components to work together seamlessly, creating a cohesive and functional application. Section 6. Conclusion. Your web app journey begins now. Congratulations! You've just learned the basics of building a full-stack web app using Node.js, Express.js, Angular 12, and MongoDB. You've seen how to create a backend server, build an interactive front-end, store data in a database, and connect everything using APIs. Remember, this is just the beginning of your web development journey. There's so much more to learn and explore. As you continue coding, you'll discover new techniques, frameworks, and tools that will allow you to build even more complex and amazing applications. Don't be afraid to experiment, make mistakes, and learn from them. The web development community is vast and supportive, with countless resources available online. Join forums, read blogs, and watch tutorials to expand your knowledge and connect with other developers. So, what are you waiting for? Dive into the exciting world of web development and start building your dream projects today.